You know, pollinators will coexist with people if they have the proper habitat. You can find native plants from your ecoregion and local sources to purchase these plants on our pollinator website. Let's see what they're doing here at the Lady Bird Johnson Wildflower Center to help pollinators. Flo?
Well, as we mentioned, the most important work we do here is we actually plant native wildflowers. And native wildflowers provide lots of choices, specific host and nectar plants for pollinators, and great habitat.
So Flo, what would be some of the components of habitat? What makes up habitat?
Tamberly, let's ask my buddies from Joslyn Elementary, Han and Jonas. Han, what's a component of habitat?
Food.
And Jonas?
Water.
And things like shelter as well. Those are the elements that any living organism needs to have to do very well. And so planting native plants is not only beautiful, but it's the right thing to do if you want to be a good neighbor to pollinators.
But if you don't have a garden at your school or at your home, there's still so many things that you can do to help pollinators. Number one, you can just be knowledgeable. That helps us to make good environmental choices. Second, you can become a citizen scientist by learning and making observations. Pollinator Live has many of those student scientist activities. You can become a citizen science there. You can record data, make observations about bees with Bee Hunt and Bee Spotter, or you can do some activities involving butterflies like Monarch Watch and Monarch Health. You can also participate in citizen science activities that deal with plants, like the Texas Invasive Program. They use that here at the Lady Bird Johnson Wildflower Center. So get out there, get your journals, and become citizen scientists and make those observations. Third, you can help in community gardens and public spaces. We all need volunteers in all of these different areas. There's so many volunteers today here at the center, and they're helping to create these pollinator habitats. You and your family can help pollinators by volunteering on National Public Lands Day on September 24th. This annual day of service brings out thousands of people who come together and volunteer to care for our public lands. You can remove some of those non-native invasive species that are threatening our natives, or you can plant native species that are friendly to pollinators. To find a work site near you, you can go to the website on your screen for National Public Lands Day. So many things we can do to help pollinators will be there for you. Now, while it's important to help and provide spaces in small areas, it's also important to conserve areas that are very large for pollinators. And that's what we do at the U.S. Forest Service, U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service, the Natural Resources Conservation Service, and other land management agencies. We protect and manage large areas for wildlife and people. Now, you probably have areas right near you that are threatened or need some type of special attention. Here are some aerial images taken in Prince William County, Virginia, which is a fast-growing suburb of Washington, D.C. The first image is from 1989, and in this image you see that it's a large area of farmland. Then you see housing developments being constructed, and by the last image, there are almost all filled with houses. So you can see how it transferred over time. So you lost habitat through this construction. So while it's important for people to have homes, it's also important for wildlife to have homes too. Large areas must be conserved for plants, pollinators, wildlife, and the enjoyment of people.